Hi there, I'm Sunitha from SellerApp, and in the next 10 minutes, I'll be walking you through the 4 PPC match types in Amazon. 4 match types? 4 it is. We will start with the one that you haven't really heard of. So in the next 10 minutes, I'll be walking you through the 4 match types on Amazon, where to use what, and what's the best match type to use based on your product stage. If you're just launching a product, then you should use a completely different match type format as compared to a product that's been selling for some time now, or that's been selling really well, where you've been trying to reduce the ACOS or possibly increase the profit margins. Not many Amazon sellers know about the secretive 4th match type in Amazon PPC, the modified broad match type. It's like a broad match, but with much control over what keywords your ads show on. For sponsored brands, you can choose what words must be present in the shopper's search terms for your ads to run. The regular broad match often goes too broad and gets a lot of irrelevant search terms that Amazon thinks is related to your product. Phrase match, on the other hand, expands upon your search term, but it is restrictive and doesn't offer much control. The modified broad match goes broad like an automatic campaign, but with hyper control over what search terms your ad shows up for. So it's similar to phrase match in a way, but it does not restrict the phrase order. It's important to note that the modified broad match works only in the case of sponsored brand campaigns. Let's take an example with the target keyword shoes and men, with you specifying that both shoes and men are to be there in every customer search term against which your ad shows up for. So the potential customer search terms against which your ads could show include shoes for men, men's shoes, shoes that men wear, black shoes, leather for men. Because the plus symbol is placed in front of both shoes and also men, those keywords must be present in every customer's search term, but they can show up in any order. If you place the plus symbol only in front of one keyword, then only that keyword must show up. The other keywords are suggestions to the algorithm, just like how the normal broad match type works. A broad match modifier is an alternative to using keywords and negatives together. It's like adding a broad match keyword and then eliminating a whole bunch of negatives. Broad match modifier helps improving the click-through rate and the conversion rate by already qualifying customers for you. So now let's talk about the broad match type on Amazon. Broad match keywords are the ones that you should be using to reach the widest range of audience possible, letting you drive a larger volume of traffic to your product listings. It's important to note that broad match could also waste valuable PPC budget by displaying your ads against irrelevant variations of the same keyword that you've specified. Ads may show up in searches that include misspellings, synonyms, related searches, as well as relevant variations. So if you are advertising with broad match type against the keyword women's hats, someone searching for ladies' hats might see your ad, or even someone advertising for women's scarves might end up seeing your advertisement. Applying the broad match type can induce the phenomenon referred to as the iceberg effect. This is when the keywords that you're bidding upon is not the end result of what you are paying, the customer search terms that you end up paying. There's a high risk of overpaying for ads that are displayed on irrelevant search terms with limited control over what terms your ad could get displayed against. In other words, you may be able to catch the most fish with a large net, but that's pretty useless if you're trying to catch a specific type of fish. That being said, it's usually best to aim for quality over quantity while you're running PPC campaigns. Broad match types are useful when you're just getting started with PPC campaigns and you're trying to figure out what are the best keywords to use for your product and your business. However, down the line, you should try to narrow down your targeting. Niche markets require laser-specific focus, which isn't a good fit for this match type. In other words, broad match may be beneficial to utilize if the goal of the campaign is to get the maximum amount of traffic to your product listing, but you could easily end up paying for surplus irrelevant terms within your search term report, and you're definitely not paying for these irrelevant search users, but you're paying to engage users to potential customers who might end up buying your product. Broad match type will likely generate a lot of clicks to your product listing, it's true. However, it's not much targeted and will significantly have a reduced chance of converting. This could lead to high advertising costs with a low return ROI. Broad match strategy can be a great time saver while you're trying to research for relevant keywords, which makes it an ideal match type if you're trying to just launch your products. Now let's talk about the phrase match type. Phrase match keywords lie somewhere in between. They are more focused than broad match but are not as great as exact match. This does provide you with greater flexibility of getting visitors to your product listings. In phrase match keywords, additional words can be added either before or after, but not in the middle of the key phrase that you're specifying to Amazon. Ads may show up for searches that match a phrase or a close variation of that phrase, which might include additional words before or after. Ads won't show, however, if a word is added into the key phrase that changes the entire meaning of the phrase. Phrase match helps eliminate the risky and potentially unnecessary traffic that a broad match or a broad match modifier could produce. Phrase match will typically not drive the same volume of traffic that broad match does. However, phrase match will drive more quality traffic with higher chance of converting since the ad is more targeted towards your niche. Now let's talk about the exact match type in Amazon PPC. Exact match types are the diametric opposite of broad keywords. Remember my silly analogy about trying to catch specific fish versus casting a large net to get the most amount of fish? Well, now it's time to spear fish with exact match. As the name clearly states, these keywords are based on exact search queries that match with the keyword that you specified to Amazon to the last detail. The search query has to match the keyword exactly for the search engine to trigger your advertisement to show up. This makes it the most difficult match types to conquer. However, the traffic you generate from an exact match type ad group or campaign is curated and it is easier to convert for you since it exactly matches the product and the term that you're advertising for. Close variants of your keyword might include singular or plural forms, misspellings, abbreviations, accents, stemmings, for example, walk and walking, additional prepositions or conjunctions, reordered words with an identical meaning. But what's important to note is that a close variation does not include a synonym. This match type will significantly decrease the amount of traffic that your ad produces. It's also highly unlikely that it will generate as many impressions or clicks as the other match types. However, the traffic that exact match produces is extremely targeted, which has the highest chance of converting since users are searching for the exact term that is related to what you're offering. So now let's quickly recap. Choosing the correct PPC match type is an important aspect of PPC strategy. Now that you have an outline of the pros and cons of each match type, you can decide what is the best fit at campaign level. Here are the key points that you have to consider for each match type. The match type determines how narrow or broad a search query will match to a keyword in your Amazon advertisement account. Broad match is the default match that most sellers use, and it is going to match your selected keywords with the broadest possible searches. The audience for broad match is not as targeted and will have a significantly reduced chance of converting. However, it might be a great choice for people, those who don't have much time to invest in creating curated in-depth keyword lists, though I would highly recommend creating keyword lists before advertising your product or even setting up your product listing. Broad match modifier allows you to specify certain search terms that must be included in order for your ads to be displayed. These match types are useful for keeping a high impression count, but also to narrow down the irrelevance that you typically get from a broad match. Phrase match, on the other hand, will trigger your ad only when a person searches the exact key phrase in the correct order that you've specified. However, it can still display your searches for included additional words. Phrase match is a great option when you've already narrowed down a specific term that you want to target or bid, so that you can utilize your ad budget for more significantly important keywords. Exact match, on the other hand, will only show your advertisement to a customer with the highest relevance who's searching for the exact keyword or possibly a very close variant. This match type will give you the highest relevance for sure, but it also gives the lowest reach. This ad group generates the highest click-through rate but also the highest cost per click. PPC match types help you mitigate the possibilities of an unsuccessful campaign and also helps you discover valuable information about your target audience, which will allow you to craft better campaigns over a period of time. Part of building successful PPC campaigns relies on the correlation of your target keywords and where your prospect is within the buying cycle. If these two pieces of information do not match, then your conversion rate is likely to be low. Having the right match type will ensure that you are getting the most value out of your PPC budget. To quickly recap, we spoke about the 4 match types in Amazon PPC: broad match modifier, phrase, and exact. In the case of punctuation and how you specify the words to Amazon, in the case of broad match modifier, you're expected to put a plus before the word that you want to have in every customer search term for your ad to be displayed. In the case of other match types, you just specify the word as it is. Taking the example of brown boots, with both brown and boots specified as a must-have in the customer search term, the possible related search terms for which your ad could be displayed against might include brown boots, brown work boots. In the case of broad match, it could include brown vintage leather, children boots. In the case of phrase match, the possible customer search terms could be new brown boot sale, brown boot discount. In the case of exact match, the only possible keywords would be brown boots or brown boot. Thank you for watching, everyone. Your support does mean a lot to us. So like the video if you did find useful information, and subscribe to SellerApp's YouTube channel if you haven't already, and click on the bell icon to receive a notification the next time we make a video about Amazon PPC or selling on Amazon. We would love to hear your feedback on what match type you've had the most successful in your Amazon PPC campaigns. Leave a comment below about your experience. We are definitely excited to read your opinion on what keywords and match types worked for you. Until the next time, happy selling.